Welcome back to Prep Rally. I'm Chip Souza, joined by Ricky Fires. And Rick, we are through 11 weeks of the high school football season, going into week 12 this week, the second round of the high school football playoffs. Weather's nice, kind of chilly. Rick, we saw a really good game last week over at Springdale Harbor. Big game, big playoff game. It was Harbor's first playoff game since the 2017 season. They had not won a playoff game since 2016. Now, Rick, can you believe that? You know, a program as storied as Harbor, but in 2016, they lost in the first round of the playoffs to Fort Smith Northside.
Yep.
Last year, they didn't make the playoffs, had some forfeits and things like that, and didn't get in. So this was the first playoff game that they've won since 2016.
Now, I'm not surprised they won, but I'm surprised at the score. They beat Little Rock Central 16-10. You know, some of these games, they get in the 40s and 50s and everything, but this was a defensive battle. Little Rock Central brought it. They got a really athletic team, fantastic running back, a good, efficient quarterback, and it came down right to the last couple minutes in the game.
Yeah,
because Central had
Harbor fumbled. Fumbled.
They fumbled on 2 straight possessions.
They did.
Yeah,
one of them led to a touchdown that made it 16-10.
So
then they fumbled again late, near midfield, but they fumbled and gave Central a chance. Rick, they could have pulled out a win there.
Some of them people that say, game's over. I'm gonna go home, get warmed up, get me a toddy, put my feet up, and say, wait a minute, we better go back because Springdale Harbor let them back in a little bit, and Central almost got it. It came down to like about 2.5 minutes to go, like a 15-yard play.
On fourth down.
A fourth down play, and our man Bowen went up there.
Cole Bowen.
There was a whole bunch. There was about 5 or 6 groups right there. It's almost
and what
like
the coaches say? Knock it down. Knock it down.
Don't intercept it.
Knock it down.
Punch it up. It's just like boom, and that's exactly what Bowen did. He hit the ground hard, and he laid there for a couple of seconds. And I talked to him after the game. He said, "Man, it was worth it." He said,
I didn't know where I was, but we said, you know what? You must be okay because that's probably how you are anyway.
Yeah, so he said, you know what? If I lost a spleen, it'd still been worth it. No, he didn't say that.
He didn't quite say that.
That was his attitude. So it came down to the last second, and, they didn't make it last year. They're heavily involved in it now, and there was a good start for them to win at home and a tough game against Central.
Rick, you know what I liked about that game? Of course, Harbor winning, a team will win, a team will lose, that kind of thing. So after the game, Kent Laster, the Central football coach, who I think has done a phenomenal job there, restoring the Tiger pride, so to speak, the black and gold. No more tradition in this entire state.
Yeah, you want Central to be good.
You want them to be good.
Yeah.
So they won 1 game last season. Mm-hmm. This season they won 6 games and came really close to stealing a playoff win on the road last week. I mean, they're right there with a chance to win it. So when that game ended, every Central player, everybody involved in that football program lined up from one side of the field to the other, and he congratulated every one of them, consoled them. Some of those kids were just sobbing, just uncontrollably. And so when that all ended, I interviewed him. I said, Coach, I've not seen your team play. This is the first time I've seen your team play. But I was real impressed by the way that those kids took this loss. Those kids that are balling like that, those are kids that are bought in. It hurt them to lose this game, and that's what you want in your program. You want those kids to burn. So one thing I thought was really cool, though, when the game ended, the Harbor football team went to their band, which sits at the end of the field, and they played the school song, and the Harbor kids like that. Coach Laster made all his kids stop and watch, and he said, I want you to watch that. I want you to see that. I want you to congratulate Harbor for winning this game, but I want you to remember this. Because that could be you next year if you're willing to work. That could be you in our stadium with our band. That's a good message, Rick.
No, that's class. I mean, we need more coaches like that at high school level. We get caught up in the winning and the jumping around and the band playing, but there's a big swing of emotion for every hollering and screaming and patting on the back. You got some kids over here hurting. Sometimes I make fun of it I love this time of year because you lose, you cruise, you're done. But you brought it back. And that, it's hard, especially for the seniors.
Yes.
Knowing you're not going to play again.
Right.
And so I'm glad you brought that to our attention.
So Harbor got a big win. Now this week they will go to North Little Rock. North Little Rock drew a first-round bye for being the number 2 seed from the 7A Central. Harbor will make that road trip up there this Friday. Now, over across town, Ricky, who did not pick Fayetteville to win last week, Rick, Fayetteville laid the absolute smack on Cabot. They took them to the woodshed.
Oh, my goodness. And I'm thinking because Fayetteville just got beat by Springdale Harbor the previous week, had one score, and I said, oh, because Fayetteville's been like that. And I said, Cabot, they've opened up the offense. I looked at some of their numbers and their history. But, man, 44-14, and Fayetteville started getting the ball to their playmakers, Mr. Connor Flanagan, who's one of the top receivers in the state. They got other people involved, took advantage of some turnovers. Mr. Gibbs, Hank Gibbs was running, and I am stunned by how bad they beat them.
Well, they took it to them, and I guess I'll use a Chris Berman term here. That's why they play the game.
That's why they play.
So big win for Fayetteville. Now this week they will go up to Bryant. This will be the second time I think they've played Bryant 11 times in the last 2 years. I mean, it seems like it's every other week they're playing Bryant.
Now, they got beat pretty badly on week 3.
They did.
And I think our reporter asked him, being a good young journalist, about that, and he said, that's why they play the game.
They play the games.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's hard to be a team, but, man, Bryant is a team that could beat one team 4 times. But, no, that's why you go down there.
Rick, Bryant may be the best team in Arkansas at any level.
Yes, I thought you were going to say ever.
No,
we're not
I'm
going
saying
there
they might beat the Razorbacks. I'm just saying. They got a good team.
Yeah.
They got a good team.
Yeah.
Not that would be a big stretch. But anyway, so Fayetteville won, they go to Bryant.
Yeah.
Harbor won, they go to
North Little
Rock. So that's one side of the bracket. Over here, we're going to have Bentonville West, who both got buys in the first round. So Bentonville, Rick, will host Little Rock Catholic on Friday. Now Catholic, they let Van Buren get way out ahead of them last week.
Oh,
Looked
my
like
goodness.
Van Buren's going to roll.
Yeah.
Catholic let them. That's like taking the baton and you're already at the turn of the 200 in the 4x400 relay. You're already halfway through your leg.
You're going up there and going and thinking about glory and the finish line.
Exactly.
Just when you get there, then what happened?
They didn't know that Catholic had Usain Bolt running anchor for them. Exactly like that. Here comes Catholic. 28 points, Rick, in about 15 seconds they put on Van Buren. They just, boom, just like that, came back and won that game. I hate it for Van Buren because we've talked about how much they've improved under Crosby.
Well, we're talking about, hey, we need to cover Van Buren next week. They're going to be playing. Hey, here it is right here. Van Buren was outscored 28-0 during the final 9 minutes.
That's exactly
29 seconds in the fourth. My goodness.
So back came Catholic. So Catholic this week makes the trip up to Bentonville. Now, Rick, you and I talked about this, and we talked about this last week. Bentonville last year, after a first-round bye, they came out in the first round against Northside and laid an egg. Flat. I mean, did not play well at all. Flat. I talked to Coach Grant about that after their game with West, and he said, well, we're going to do things differently this year in preparation and during that off week to get ready for that first round, that next, the playoff game. So we'll see. Catholic, my goodness, they're going to be riding a big wave of momentum coming into this game.
Absolutely.
So anyway, that'll be an interesting game. So that'll be over at Bentonville Tiger Stadium. Rick, you're going to be over at Bentonville West where they're going to be playing Conway. Now, you talking about taking a team to the woodshed. Conway took Rogers High to the woodshed last week. I think they scored 630 points. Maybe I added a zero in there.
A lot of
points. A lot of points. So Conway, Keith Thimple is their coach. A lot of people would know him here. He was an assistant coach at Southside under Jeff Williams for a long time. He was assistant coach at Harbor. So he's done a great, great job at Conway. This is second year. So they're going to be coming up to West. West needed this week off, Rick, to kind of heal up some bumps and bruises. They had some kids who were pretty dinged up. And so that should be a really, really good game over at Centerton.
And it helps them get over the loss distance themselves from the loss at Bentonville.
Well, here's one thing I noticed about Bentonville West. They played Bryant. Bryant took them to the woodshed.
46-0.
But West was a much better team after that game because they were exposed. These are your deficiencies. We're going to expose them, and that gives gives those coaches something to say. Hey, remember me telling you, talking to the players. Remember me telling you how you need to do this, and you don't, and now you're on your back because they've ran all over you. Now maybe you'll listen to me. So West coaches have had a chance to do some really good coaching the last couple of weeks. I tell you what, Rick, I think it'll be a good game Friday night with
So
Conway.
you're saying if you get humbled, you get knocked down, beat up and everything, you come back and you're better for it?
I think you could be. Now,
So if you hit me in the tee and knock me out over here, and our photographer wakes me up, I'm going to be a better man for it.
I say we should try this and let's just see how it goes. All right, so everybody ready? Everybody with me on that?
But I understand what you're saying, yeah.
Absolutely. So we got those going on. Now, those are big games in the 7A.
Yes.
They're in the quarterfinals. You're down to the final 8 teams. That's great. Now, let's go to 6A. How about Siloam Springs going on the road and getting a big win last week at Marion? A huge, we've talked about Siloam too and how much better they've gotten the last couple of years. So for them to go, first of all, they had to beat Russellville in week 10 to get in the playoffs. Then they went down last week, beat a good Marion team, a good team. So major props to Siloam Springs. Now this week,
that's a long trip too.
It is a long trip.
You're almost in Memphis when you go to Marion. Go all the way down to Interstate 40, win that game, beat the Patriots on their home field. Props to Siloam Springs.
Absolutely. So this week they make that road trip, not as long a road trip, but they go to Greenwood. Greenwood drew a first-round bye last week.
I wouldn't want to get there.
So Rick Jones is going to have his team ready to go.
Yeah.
Now, when they played a couple of weeks ago in regular season, Siloam hung with Greenwood there in the first half. Then Greenwood ended up, taking over the second half. But anyway, major props to Siloam Springs. They'll be on the road to Greenwood in the 6A. Now, the game that everybody has been looking forward to for a while. We didn't know it was going to be this way. We thought this game might be in the semis, but Pulaski Academy. By the way, my cap is not a Pulaski Academy cap. This is the Bartlesville, Oklahoma Bruins. My boy Jason Sport, first-year head coach over there, he hooked me up with the cap. So they're blue and they're the Bruins, but this is Bartlesville, Oklahoma Bruins. So J Sport, that's for you.
Yeah.
But anyway, Pulaski Academy at Harrison.
Oh, wow.
Friday night. They make that drive up Crooked Creek, whatever it is, it is. Up to Harrison. Rick, that is going to be a great game.
You're talking about a championship. Really, we say that all the time. So, oh, my goodness, that's a championship game in week 2 to play. And this is the biggest game in the state.
It is.
I don't know where our game of the week is at, but this is the biggest game right here. 2 great tradition. Hey, they're going to come up there, the Pulaski Academy people and their SUVs and all that.
And their onside kicks and their
onside kicks, and you won't see any punts. But Harrison,
by the way, Kevin Kelly is my pick to be the new Arkansas coach. I know that's not going to happen, but he's my pick.
Not going to happen, and I like him. But no, this. If you're in it, I don't care if you're 100 miles away and you have no dog in the hunt.
Go to that game.
That would be a game.
Go to that game.
In Omaha, Arkansas, isn't that right by the Missouri border? Omaha, Arkansas.
Yeah.
Go to that game. Half the town.
If you're in Branson shopping, stop early. Go to Harrison. Yes.
No, that is an excellent game. Gabe Husky and all the boys were. I would love to be at that game, but I got another assignment. So
Henry Apple's going to be there Friday night. So that'll be a great game. Of course, we've talked about this, Rick, on our radio show that's on Thursdays at 2 o'clock, and we've talked about this, how, in my opinion, the top 4 teams in 5A are Harrison, Morrilton, PA, and Little Rock Christian. That's your top 4 teams. So you're getting basically, you're right, Rick, a championship-type game in the second round of the playoffs here on Friday night. It's a bonus.
Yep.
So that'll be a great game. Got another game, Rick, going on, another big game. Oh, of course, the playoff, all games are big. They're all big. But the one that we've been looking at for a couple of weeks thinking could happen is going to happen. Warren, my goodness, all the tradition that the Lumberjacks have, the enormous lumberjack that inflatable that they run through. The guy looks like Paul Bunyan and whatever. Traylon Burks and Jarius, all these guys that they've had. Tremendous. Bo Hembry, great coach. Anyway, they make the drive down to Ozark this week. Ozark, of course, won the 4A4 conference. So that will be a big game down in the Fort Smith River Valley area on that Arkansas River. So if you want to catch another great game Friday night, you go early, go downtown Ozark, right there on the river, get you some Rivertown barbecue. Rick's been there a few hundred times. So you go there, get you some good barbecue before the game, and then go catch a really, really good game. Rick, I think Ozark is very good. Warren, we know they're good. This should be another good game.
You know what? I'm thinking, I wish a Harvard professor wanted to find out about Arkansas. I would send him to this high school game.
Yes.
The Ozark Hillbillies
yes.
against the Lumberjacks of Warren.
Yes.
to know about Arkansas right there, you got to start right there on a Friday night in deep south in the piney woods of Arkansas, and you can see some of the people out there with their the hunting gear on.
Well, you can see Ted Darling with his overalls on and his coonskin cap, the
and he's
hillbilly
looking,
with his gun. Yeah,
he still got his gun.
absolutely he does.
I mean, I would like to see somebody from the Northeast, a learned professor, to come down there and just watch his reaction to this. But this is what Arkansas is all about. That is an outstanding game. 2 great programs, and I wish I was there. We can't be everywhere, though.
Rick, we can't be everywhere.
Can't
you
be
know, we're not like an amoeba that you can just split up. You know.
what?
Well, you know,
Oh, I remember that.
something
Yeah,
like
like ninth grade or something.
They had this blobby shape to them or
Is
something.
it one cell thing?
I think so. Something
Okay.
like that. With a
I got a
nucleus
bunch
and
of
all.
cells. as
Yeah,
you can
there
see.
you go. And a whole lot of ribs and brisket in there, too.
Yep.
So anyway, that's where we'll be all over the place again. Of course, this Friday, we've got a lot of playoff games that we'll be at. We'll have full coverage in Saturday's Northwest Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. So great photos, stories will be okay. Well, mine will be good. I can't really speak for yours. But anyway,
do what we can do.
You know, we do what we can do. It is what it is. Yeah. So we'll have a full coverage of that online at nwaonline.com, as well as in the print edition, just like Ricky has with him in the Saturday Northwest Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. Great games. It is playoff times, folks. It does not get any better than where we are right now. We got Thanksgiving coming in next week. You know, the field, the space is shrinking down. The teams are, shrinking, and only.
And we're not leaving till the last
till
game.
they turn the lights out at War Memorial on that last game down at Little Rock. So we'll have full coverage of all of the playoffs for you. So stay with us. And that is it for this week. I got to go ahead and get ready to go to my game Friday night. Rick's going to his game. Everybody's getting ready to go to their game. Stay with us, and we will have everything for you.